Most people don't fail in business after 6 months, believe it or not. They don't fail in business after 6 months. They fail in the first 72 hours. And they don't do it loud, they do it silently. No fire, no dramatic announcement, just confusion, hesitation, right? And eventually, disappearance, they just go ghost. So I learned something terrifying about building teams. The average new person, the average new person, they can survive rejection. They can handle a little bit of rejection. They can survive hard work, but they cannot survive uncertainty. They can't survive uncertainty. So if your onboarding system is weak, you're literally training people to quit. That's crazy. You're training the people to quit. So I'm a business owner, right? And one of the biggest, I would say one of the biggest mistakes I made early on, right, was believing motivation was enough, man. I was motivating like you couldn't believe it. So I thought if someone was excited, if someone was ambitious, if somebody was hungry, that they'll naturally figure things out. That's how I felt I was. And I was 100% wrong. 100% wrong. Excitement without structure creates anxiety. And when someone has anxiety, that creates inactivity. So eventually I stopped asking this. I stopped asking, how do I recruit more people? I stopped asking that, man. And I started asking, how do I engineer momentum during the first 72 hours? Because that's all you got, really, the first 72 hours. Okay. Because those first 3 days, the first 3 days determine everything. It determines their confidence. It's going to determine their belief in what you're doing. It's going to determine their retention. It's going to determine their identity, and it's going to determine their long-term consistency. So years ago, I brought on two people. Right? You've done this before. I brought on two people in the same week. Same opportunity. Same compensation, same training, all that. Everything was the same. One person disappeared in 10 days. 10 days to exact. And the other person became one of the most dependable people on the team. And at first, I thought, man, I thought it was a talent thing. I thought the difference was talent. But when I truly analyzed everything and really got honest with it, I realized it wasn't talent at all, man. It wasn't talent. It was onboarding. One person got information, the other got direction. And it's a difference between information and direction. See, one person heard, man, watch this video when you can. The other heard, at 7 p.m. tonight, we're gonna complete step one together. We doing this together, step one together tonight. See, one person felt alone and the other person felt guided. And that changed everything. So here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. Most, and I say most, not every, most onboarding systems are built backwards. So people overload their new recruits. Man, I got me a new recruit, and they overload them with PDFs. They overload them with 3-hour Zooms. They overload them with random motivational videos. They overload them with complicated terminology, and they overload them with huge goals. They overload them. Project overload. And the new person, man, they leave overwhelmed. They leave overwhelmed, bro. So listen carefully. Confused people do not take action. They're not going to take action. Clear people do. So your first 72 hours should not focus on making someone an expert. Even if you were the best teacher, you can't make them an expert in 72 hours. So it should focus on making someone move. See, momentum creates confidence, not knowledge. I always thought, man, I give them all the knowledge they're going to get, it's going to create. No, momentum creates confidence. So here's my 72-hour training plan. So day one is identity and simplicity. See, the first day is all psychological. So like if you have kids or when your kid was a kid, right? Or when you was a kid, think about when you was a kid, think about your very first day of kindergarten. Or your very first, or you can even think of your very first day of any school year, K through 12 or even college. They didn't drown you with information. They just wasn't throwing a whole bunch of information on you. See, your only goal on the first day is to help them believe that they belong in whatever you're doing, that they belong here. So what I focus on is why this business matters. I focus on what success actually looks like. The simplest possible first steps in immediate communication. So at the end of day one, you can put your business in here. At the end of day one, they should know what you do. They should know who to talk to, and they should know what tomorrow looks like. That's it. Day two is action over perfection. We just want to get a little bit of action. We want to get your, feet wet. So day two is about movement, not perfection. So I'd rather have a new person make 3 imperfect calls than watch 11 motivational videos. See, action removes fear. Action removes fear. Inaction increases fear. So day two focuses on first conversations, simple scripts. It focuses on shadowing, role play, and fast feedback. Because you're not building skill yet. You're building certainty. All right. Now, day three. Day three is where you build momentum and you build vision. See, day three determines whether they become active or invisible. The number 3 is a powerful number. Day 3 is important. This is where most people disappear. So I focus on small wins. Small wins, future vision, clear weekly schedule, accountability, and community. See, people stay where they feel progress. They stay where they feel progress. And progress doesn't need to be massive. It just needs to be visible. So, what did I learn from all that, right? So here's what I eventually learned. Right? Great onboarding is not about controlling people. It's about serving people. It's about serving people. See, a confused new recruit loses confidence in themselves. They don't lose confidence in the opportunity or anything. They lose confidence in themselves. And a guided recruit starts believing. They start believing. Like, man, maybe they start saying, like, man, maybe I can actually do this, man. And that belief changes careers. It changes income. And sometimes it changes entire bloodlines. Okay. So if you're building a business, remember this. Your system is speaking even when you're not speaking. And during the first 72 hours, not 3 months, not 3 weeks, the first 72 hours, your onboarding system is either creating momentum or it's manufacturing doubt. So you got to simplify the process. Simplify the process, create movement, and build certainty. Because people rarely quit opportunities. They rarely quit opportunities. They quit confusion.